Roy Fuoco from the Ledger, and Roy's been covering these athletes and coaches and programs for quite a while.
Yeah, forever.
Forever. Well, I wasn't going to use the word forever, but welcome back to Sports Central. We always appreciate the time, Roy. Since '92, right?
Yeah, for the old Lake Wales Highlander. That was a 5-day-a-week paper, and I covered Lake Wales, Frostproof state championship year, and Weber and Warner, and probably one of the most fun years I've had because it was just sort of left to myself to do. And it was that's probably the most fun year I had, that first year.
Really?
Especially those first few months, because you had good teams too to cover. I mean,
sure.
Like Wales went to was 10-0 at this point in football, and the basketball team went to state that year. The baseball team won state. Frostproof, like earlier said, won state, and even Weber had they went to the NIA national tournament for the first time, and they were actually a fun team to watch. So I mean, I would look back at that first year with a lot of, like I said, a lot of fun.
Well, we always talk about the Polk County All Sports Awards, which we partner with the Ledger to put on every June at the RP Funding Center. And we always say, logistically the event changes, but it's never hard to find enough folks worthy of the All Sports Awards and the Hall of Fame inductions. And over your forever term of covering sports in Polk County, there's been no shortage of great teams and great individual athletes, right?
Yeah, it gets harder when people say, well, who's the best athlete or who's the best this, and it's like as soon as you come up at one, you can come up with another, whatever sport you're talking about, even what position you're talking about. Obviously some guys may stand out, then it gets deep right after that. So that's probably what's been so much why it's good to stay in this area, was that there is plenty of good athletes and teams and stories to cover.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, football, obviously, we're kind of, let's say, winding down. We're in I think week 2 playoffs. Just talk a little about that. The teams remaining games we got this upcoming week, and kind of forecast what it looks like for these remaining teams that we have in the county for the Lakelands and Lake Wells, obviously the strong teams, and actually got a rematch with Lakeland Christian and Victory. So.
Yeah, I mean, I've been saying all year that I wouldn't be surprised if Lakeland and Lake Wales play for state titles, because they're that strong, sort of similar to the way they're built, where their strengths are, and I'm not going to say weaknesses, but where they're, just the way the teams are built. But and then also with the regions, with the new classification. So Lake Wales will have maybe their toughest challenge along the way. Maybe tonight they play Vanguard, which beat them, I want to say 2018 or 2017, 2018 in the playoffs, shut them out. And then last year they beat them by, I want to say 3 points, or it was a closer game. So, and Vanguard's got 3 losses, but they lost to teams that could go to the Final Four I think one of them was Niceville, which was expected to go to the Final Four, but they got upset by Crestview last week. But so they got good, and they were close games. So Vanguard got 3 losses, but they're close games to bigger schools that are still alive or were real strong. So Lakeland, I don't see them having any problems tonight with Mitchell. Like I said, you mentioned the rematch. The Victory Lakeland Christian game, I mean, that could go either way. I mean, Lakeland Christian was sort of lucky to get out of that one. They were down 20-7 going into the fourth quarter, tied it, missed the extra point that would have won them the game. That was a crazy ending. And then they had stopped. I think they had stopped Victory once. And but anyways, Victory got the ball back, drove, had a chance for a winning field goal. They got a great field goal kicker. He missed it. I want to say it was 40-something yards. Penalty against Lakeland Christian, moves it up closer. Hits the game-winning field goal. Penalty against Victory, pushes it back. Misses the next one, goes into overtime, and then Victory, Lakeland Christian scored to tie it, and went for 2, gambled, and Parker St. John, the quarterback, bowled in for a touchdown. So. The game that they kept making adjustments in the game, so it's not like, well, they beat us with this, we got to make the adjustment. No, it was kind of back and forth, and so it's going to be that way again tonight.
I don't mean to go off topic here, but you were talking about the kicking situation. Is there a more difficult or a worse position in football than the kicker? Because you basically stand on the sidelines the entirety of the game, and then it's on your shoulders. And you get everyone wants to blame the kicker that didn't have anything to do with the other 59 or whatever it is on the clock. That's tough. That's a tough situation for a kid.
Yeah, and there's been obviously some great dramatic kicks, and even when you're out there, I did a story on the female coach, Kristen Nicholson, and her kicker, Jackie Patton, who's a really good soccer player, and when they played Jenkins had a girl kicker, Lily Spurgeon, who's a really good soccer player. Spurgeon made her kicks. Patton missed one. I don't think she didn't miss it. It was blocked. And that was one thing they were talking about why she hadn't tried field goals is the offensive line struggles blocking sometimes out of, and
especially with a low trajectory coming on the field goal.
And so it's not only, and she also can kick equally with her left foot and right foot, but they have trouble holding when she tries to kick with her left foot. So they went that way. Lake Region had a kicker who could hit from 50 yards with both feet. So there were actually some good kickers this year.
That's crazy.
But coaches a lot of times will still go for the first down instead of the field goals, or the touchdown or something.
Well, I think my issues are, I'm a Florida State fan, and Gerald's a Miami fan, so sitting here with him, I think it brings up the kicking problems of yesteryear with Florida State.
Let's keep talking about yesteryear.
Let's talk about this year's game.
Let's talk about yesteryear.
Well, so any predictions? When we get coaches on here, we like to make, corner them for bold predictions, but any predictions? I think you said you don't really see anybody necessarily, at least on paper, getting in Lakeland's way to the state finals.
I mean, I kind of think it's going to be Lakeland and Venice for the title in 4S. I think Lake Wales, if they get by tonight, will be there. It's going to get tougher for Frostproof and the Lakeland Christian victory winner after tonight, but the further you win, then obviously you're that good, so you never know. So I think 4 teams will come out tonight. Winter Haven's playing Lake Mineola, and James Thompson has done a great job with it. That team's really come on as the season's progressed. Their quarterback has really come on too. Joe Tarver had like over 300 yards of total offense last week. But they're playing a really good Lake Mineola team. So I think it could be competitive tonight, but I think Lake Mineola wins. I think Winter Haven goes home and we'll be left with 4 teams.
As a Bartow fan, I have to jokingly say he was down against Winter Haven. I'm just kidding.
Well.
So as we turn, and I said it a little bit in the intro, the football gets a lot of publicity, but you look at many times, certainly in girls basketball and boys basketball, the road to the Final Four either comes out of Polk County or runs through Polk County. You got to be a Polk County team to get there, or a lot of times we have Polk County teams that end up there. Of course, there's other winter sports that we want to talk about. But as we turn a little bit from the fall sports to the winter sports, it may be a quick preview. We know Winter Haven High School made the Final Four in boys basketball last year. Do you think they go back, or who are some of your sleeper teams?
Well, Winter Haven, I mean, if Winter Haven doesn't get back, fill in your own negative description of why it didn't happen, because they're loaded. I mean, Dylan James is signed with Georgia. He's back. Jamie Phillips Jr. is back. The big 3, and then Isaac Salazar. They got everybody back. Those 3 are back. KJ Parker from Bartow transferred over to Winter Haven. So there might be some chemistry. There's only one basketball, and all 4 of them, they had great chemistry, great teamwork last year. The big 3, and then. And they have Terrell Redding, a really good defensive player, back. So if KJ can move in seamlessly and not with the way they shared the ball and played unselfishly, Winter Haven, the region isn't as strong as it was last year. They moved up to 7S. State's going to be tough. I'm not predicting a state title for them, because whoever's in the Final Four, they're going to be some really good teams. They should go back to the Final Four this year in 7S.
Yeah, they're separate from Bartow and Lakeland and some of them, right? They're up a classification. So
Yeah, they moved up.
the
this
rest
year.
of those folks are still left in the same district fighting it out. But
Yeah.
the Winter Haven has moved to a different classification.
Yes, yeah. Winter Haven moved up. Bartow and Kathleen and Lakeland are all back, fighting each other. Lakeland I would have predicted would have gone to state, but unless something happened between now and December, Tyler Williams planned on graduating early to start, football up. He's going to be at Georgia, so
Yeah, he's pretty good, huh?
yeah. So that's a huge loss because they had him and Roe Hardy and Kamari McKinley, some other guys. So that would have been, I think they, if it wasn't for Winter Haven, Lakeland might have gotten to state last year because Lakeland I think beat them in the regular season and lost in the playoffs. So. Bartow, I just don't count McGriff out. He's got a lot of new players. I haven't really had a chance to delve into, who they have. He sent me some stuff last night and predicted one of the players who I haven't heard of as a first teamer. So, but I don't count, I won't count Bartow out with the job Terrence has done over the years. So, and then Victories might be pretty good down in 2A, I think they're at, and then we'll see who else emerges as the season goes on.
Sure. Well, real quick, we might have breaking news. I mean, if you need to get that, get it.
I usually turn it off before I get on there. I kind of forgot.
Well, real quick, is there an opportunity for Winter Haven to potentially have a state title on the boys' side and on the girls' side? Because you talked about Coach McGriff and Bartow. On the girls' side of basketball, you can't really count out Winter Haven girls either.
Yeah, it's they graduated one of their best players, Kayla Smith, but Breasia Washington is back. It was really good. They got I'm pretty sure the last Hardy in the family, Serenity from McKeel. She'll be a freshman. She hurt her knee last year at McKeel, so but she's back healthy. Trinity, who's at West Point, was a Player of the Year a couple of years ago, and then there's been Roe Hardy at Lakeland, her brother Daraja Hardy. So all the Hardys have been really good basketball players, and people tell me Serenity. Did I see her play? I think I saw her play as a 7th grader. Yeah, and they say she'll be the best, even better than Trinity, and Trinity obviously was really good. So. So John will do a good job. And then they've got. I've heard about some younger players. Should have taken this out of my pocket.
Roy, don't worry about it. We're gonna obviously something's going on.
So the other team that in a different sport that should go far this year would be Layton Christian in girls soccer. The 2-time defending state champion, and they got everybody back and got some health issues right now. But what everybody's looking forward for that is they moved back down, so they'll probably play St. John's Country Day, who's got like 10 or 11 state titles in a row.
Right.
So that's really the game everybody's looking at. So girls soccer should be interesting, and a couple other teams too this year.
Okay, well, Roy, we appreciate your time. We're going to go ahead and go to break so you can answer your phone because clearly something's going on. But Roy, as always, we appreciate you and all that the Ledger does to cover not only high school but collegiate athletics and professional athletics here in Polk County.
Yeah, a lot to cover.
All right.
Thanks for watching. If you want to see more videos from Sports Central, click the video below and be sure to like, share, and subscribe.